What is going on, everyone? This is your daily dose of mental health, and in this video we will be discussing key aspects in regards to going through opioid withdrawal and how we can use nutrition to combat withdrawal effects, short-term and long-term. Now, before I go any farther, please like and subscribe to the channel. I greatly appreciate it. I know I haven't done a video in a while. Lost some of that motivation recently. I've been working a lot. Been doing well. I have my ups and downs though, like everyone out there. But one of my New Year's resolutions is to at least make 1 to 2 videos a week if I can. Probably won't be longer than a lot of them 10 minutes. Today's kind of like an open introductory again to the channel. But first and foremost, I'm doing very well. I've been focusing a lot more on my diet and nutrition. That's why I wanted to focus on this video in regards to diet, health, nutrition, and even I'll do another video on exercise and the importance of it in early recovery of drug abuse, and even just anyone out there who's if you're out of shape or whatnot, if you're trying to get in shape. Some things that'll really help you initially that I wish I would have known, but in particular for people who are going through drug withdrawal or even post-acute withdrawal, I've got some tips that really, really have helped me. And this is going to be this is really just kind of like 5 tips I wish I would have known when I first started going through tramadol withdrawal, and some early tips, and then some later tips even up to this point on things I wish I would have done earlier to help my mental health and my physical health. The first tip when going through opiate withdrawal, in my case tramadol withdrawal, and this is for people who have to quit, run out, or you're going to quit. Always, always, always be prepared. What do I mean by that, and what does that have to do with nutrition? What it has to do with nutrition is water, electrolytes. I mean, always with me, I always carry, for example, I always have, like this, for example, a big bottle of water. Just how I know, for me, for example, right now, one thing I try to do every day is at least drink a liter of water. It's good for your kidneys, it's good for your body functions in general. It's good for all your major organs. Your whole body needs it, so water. This water claims to have some electrolytes, but other things, if you're a diabetic, I know drinking things like Powerade, Gatorade can be tricky, but making sure you're getting your electrolytes as well. Now, some might ask, oh, I have no appetite to drink water or get electrolytes in when I'm first starting withdrawal. You got to force it in. And I know, even though, because when you're first going through it, I know a lot of times, the vomiting, the nausea, that's why in particular I'm saying that's why I didn't talk about foods. That's why all I'm talking about is water and electrolytes. It will help push you through that first aspect of your withdrawal. It'll speed it up for you. So continue to drink water, keep your kidneys moving. That's number 1. Number 2, so once you've been through it for about 3 or 4 days, the next thing I would start, and I know it's kind of something that a lot of people have, they debate and whatnot and say, oh, I don't know if I can do it. Even if on day 2 you do, the second you have the motivation to get up and move around, go take a walk. Why go take a walk? Walking, once again, it stimulates your endorphins in your brain. Getting your endorphins going will help, once again, start that process of that recovery in your brain of your endorphins, of your dopamine, your norepinephrine, all those brain chemicals that you've depleted over the time of using. Now you might say, whoa, what does that have to do with with nutrition? It has a lot to do with nutrition, because if you're walking and you're starting to exercise, and you're starting that process, your food, you will start enabling your hunger response again. You will start to want to eat. So exercise will make it where you'll want to eat. Maybe not right after, but your body will require you to start taking in calories. And the earlier your body can start taking in calories when you're going through this process, the better. Which leads me to point number 3, what kind of calories? So this is away from, you should still, once again, all the steps prior to this, you should continue doing while you're up to this point. So water, electrolytes, walking. Number 3, what kind of foods? Bland foods. Foods in protein, yes, but protein shakes you can try. However, avoid milk with it. Don't mix it with milk. It'll whack with your digestive system. Even if you're a little bit lactose intolerant, it'll make it worse. What you can do is use some muscle milk, premium protein. Put a scoop of that in your water, and that you'll get your nutrients. You'll get your protein. That'll work. Applesauce, grains, bread, little things like that. Because remember, you just don't want your protein. You need to get your basic carbohydrates. At this point, I would say fruits you can start. So this is about, at the beginning of around a week. Once you hit around week 1, fruits you can, if you feel up to it, fruits you can try. Once again, I eat them slowly and cautiously, because once again that can cause some serious GI, diarrhea, things like that going on. Your stomach isn't quite ready for it yet. Little amounts of it might work, but I wouldn't overdo it. Very bland foods. Big key, if you still can't take in bland foods at this point, remember, water, electrolytes, protein shakes if you can. Okay, so now let's go to tip number 4, which is going to be, we're going to make a little jump in space up to 2 weeks. 2 weeks to a month afterwards. So at this point, your physical withdrawal should essentially be gone. You should, at this point, be able to take down your basic foods. It can still be you can be a little weary, your stomach still kind of going back and forth with diarrhea, constipation, but at this point, your stomach should start to settle. Now, the big thing is, now physically your body will start feeling better, but mentally, that's where the game changes, in my opinion. Physically you're feeling better, but this is where that post-acute withdrawal kicks in, which is the mental cravings right up here. You'll start having those urges to really want to use. You'll be like, why physically I'm starting to feel better, but man, those pulls of wanting to use. You probably had a routine. You probably used at certain times. That'll all be racing through your head. You'll be having racing thoughts to want to use, to want to pick up. If you had a routine of where you used, I used it 8 in the morning, or let's say 8 in the morning, 2, and then 1 time at night, whatever it is, that'll be going through your mind, racing thoughts. This tip in regard to nutrition is huge. Sleeping, changing your sleeping schedule, and I know you might say, again, what does this have to do with nutrition? If you are sleeping well and getting at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night, and you're going to bed earlier if you can, I know some people do night shifts, which is a little bit different, but if you're getting 6 to 8 hours of sleep tonight, 6 to 8 hours of sleep every night, and starting that process of starting to get a different routine in regards to that, that'll help with your nutrition, sleeping. And what do I mean by that? If you're sleeping 6 to 8 hours, you're really focusing on your nutrition intake, your protein, your exercise, your water intake. Your body will naturally want to go to sleep. Your body will require certain amounts of recovery time, which when you're going through this when your body is going through this recovery time, you'll notice that if you have a slip up and you're eating, and I'm not saying having a little bit of candy here and there is not bad, but if you start eating unhealthy pizzas, and you start getting, putting on excess weight as well, your sleeping patterns will change and will become a lot worse. And secondly, you have a higher chance of using again. Because then once you start putting on that excess weight, you've been eating unhealthy, it'll make that post-acute withdrawal worse. So sleeping at this point, once you've hit around 2 months, sleeping should be emphasized, and it should always be emphasized. Healthy diet, and once again at this point you should be taking in protein shakes, your water, a little bit of candy here and there you can have cravings for, that's fine. That's fine to have a sweet tooth here and there, but really focusing on your proteins, your healthy lean meats, even steak, fruits, vegetables. Having a cheat meal here and there is not a big deal, but focusing on a holistic aspect is really what I'm getting at. So when you're hitting this aspect of recovery, sleeping is huge, because I'm telling you, if you're not sleeping right, very high chance your nutrition is going to be completely messed up. So that's why I mentioned sleep. And then finally, this is my final tip. If you do have a slip, let's say 2 to 3 months out, and let's say you use one time, that does not make it where you've been going up this road of recovery and you have this one minor slip, just a little bit. That doesn't mean you have to down spiral all the way back down. I'm not telling you to slip, but if you do slip, if you have a slip, okay, you slip, you're going up, you've been doing well, you hit the 2 to 3 month, and then you accidentally have a slip. Okay, recognize the slip where it is, you go down a little bit, recognize it, but don't let it destroy you and go all the way back down and down spiral. Recognize it and push back up. Go back up to where you were. Failures happen along the way. I wish I could tell you, and I'm not going to tell you, oh, if you slip up once, if you have a slip up, oh, it's completely over. That's what they'll tell you a lot of times in AA and NA. If you have a slip, oh, you've got to start from step number one again, which I'm not trying to hate on AA or NA. They have their purpose. I do respect them, but that does not mean, in my mind, if you have a slip, that you start all over again, because that makes it seem like to you that, oh man, it puts in your head, when you go through that mindset, if you have a slip, oh, that's going to justify me to continue to slip for the next month, and then you do get into problems. If you have a slip, recognize it, get the help you need, recognize it, talk to people if you can, and go back up to what you're doing. Or let's say you start eating unhealthy, very unhealthy through it, you notice you're having more cravings, recognize it, but don't let it continue to take you down. Alright guys, so those are the 5 tips I have for you guys today in regards to nutrition and drug recovery. I know it's kind of everywhere, but this is kind of what really helped me for those first 3 months. And pertaining to opioid withdrawal. Once again, please like and subscribe. This is everything about the daily dose of mental health, meaning my own recovery, nutrition, exercise, which I'll do an exercise video coming up, nutrition, exercise, mental health disorders. I am a psychiatric RN who is still in recovery. I still see it that way. I've been sober now for over 3.5 years, and we'll also focus on healthy plant alternatives that can help. I'm an open book. We'll talk about AA and NA if you want, but I don't want anyone discouraging anyone. If you have your opinion, that's cool, but don't ever put anyone down. We all have our own story. Not everyone's right. What matters is that we're living a healthy life, where we are living in a society where we are actually being productive in society. So, some people, if you have to use Suboxone, if you have to use methadone, if you have alternatives that you're using, if that's what's making you live a healthy, productive life and getting you out of the old patterns of you where you weren't doing anything except being self-destructive, that is what counts. That is what matters. This is your daily dose of mental health. Look out for some more videos coming out in this next week. We're going to get this thing going again. I love you all.